Get the mixer lined up here. And that looks good as well. So I can say, welcome everyone to the 19th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we'll be meeting with Mr. Keshe of the Spaceship Institute and see what he has to offer for children, children's teaching. And we have Kevin Devaney to speak with here as well. Are you available, Kevin, to begin the workshop?
Yep, I am. Hello, Rick. Hello, Vince. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello to all knowledge seekers. Okay. As I've been listening today to the workshops, especially in regards to Alex creating some form of matter, and now that we have finally created free energy, which humanity has been for such a long time crying for, and I must say, Mr. Keshe, I don't see you, but I think you can hear me within your soul, that I'm really baffled and surprised that there is not a single entity organization talking about it. It just baffles my mind, but it's okay. It's probably the ignorance over stupidity. Anyway, there are two issues or questions I want to raise up. You can, deal with both of them if there's enough time, or just pick one of them if you please. So the first one would be, as you've been talking about, we are too much into physicality and all these factors and environmental conditions that are responsible for the creation of matter. And when you mentioned that when Alex created that matter, it would need to create the same environmental conditions and to have the same factors to create that exact same matter. So you've been talking about, the soul, emotionality, and the manifestation of matter. And if the time is mature, I want to bring this up. And the question, how can I've been learning and experiencing personally myself the manifestation of wishes. But I don't want to go into detail because it would be too personal. But somehow I have the suspicion you are part of that a realization of manifestation. So the first thing would be, how do we involve, or how can I put it into words? How can we bring our consciousness, our intentions, our wishes from within our emotionality and soul to the realization, to the manifestation of our wishes? If that question is clear. The second one would be, I don't know anybody that is not, that is not excited about the freedom, the feeling of freedom and independence of traveling with, let's just say, with a car, and which is where there's a system integrated. Let's say, if you could explain, I want to, understand how, more, let's say, the technological details with the 4 shock absorbers and the centralized 1 core reactor in the center of the car, and in a way that also kids and younger people can understand that. Because since I saw that movie many years ago called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it's like I could never stop dreaming about that, because this is a totally new way of transportation, of traveling, like from A to B within a unbelievable rate of speed. So did my questions get through, or am I still there? Hello? Hello? Is anybody there?
I did hear your questions. The first one I didn't understand, but I did understand the second one.
Okay. Yes,
I'm not sure if Mr. Keshe did or not. There he is. He's in the big red chair. The friendly giant's in the big red chair.
We can't hear you, Mr. Keshe. I think your mic is off.
It's not off.
It's not off.
Wait 1 second. 1 second. The software. Is it okay now? So I don't know what this question is, because I told you to Doesn't matter. I was busy with something else. It's my fault. I received
Yeah.
your gifts. They're in a box. I don't think they're in a working condition. The goods are damaged. So let's see what happens. Carry on.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I'm going to repeat myself, make it more short.
Repeat yourself. That's normal with you, Kevin. So repeat yourself.
Okay. When you were talking about, in connection with.
Don't touch anything there.
Um,
Just move somewhere else. Just move from there. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, Mr. Keshe. When you were talking today in the previous workshops today, in connection with Alex's presentation of creation of matter, and when you said there are so many factors involved, so many environmental conditions that would need to be replicated to replicate the exact matter or form of matter. And you went into detail about it would be much easier if we, and that is probably a maturity process, to go into that soul level to manifest matter. I'd love you to, go more, if it's somehow appropriate at this point of time for kids and younger people, because people, younger folks, they read a lot of fairy tales and Harry Potter, what do you call it, Harry Potter books. So I want to know, is there a way how we can evolve and integrate and involve our emotionality and soul and consciousness and intentions to manifest to real matter? That would be my first question. You know what I'm getting at?
I don't get it yet. Nobody knows. We are looking at each other's with a strange look.
I still don't get a
Scratching our
second time
head.
around. I
Bill
still
is
don't get a second
smiling
time
beyond.
around.
He says, "There's worse to me."
No, you talked about the
looking to the wall. He doesn't know what's going on, and we don't understand.
Kevin, you need
I
to
think this
ask
is
the
very
question like a child.
Pardon?
I think Kevin needs to simplify it like a child would ask the question. Then we can all understand.
Yeah. Now make yourself a child.
Okay. When Alex presented his system, when he created some form of matter, and it seems, if a kid would watch that, it looks very complex, very complicated, with all the star formations, GANs here, reactor there. It's like really complicated. And you said yourself you would need the same exact factors and environmental conditions, and there's a lot of of factors involved to create that exact matter as Alex did. And there's another way. You went into the other avenue talking about the soul and the star formation. So I would love you to talk about the easier way of creating, manifesting matter.
The creation of magravs is not the magravs you change to matter. I think you still haven't got it. You change the energy to the state, you'll find out what Alex has is not magrav, it's a matter state. Mm-hmm. Because he's created the matter in the matter environment, plasma in the matter environment. If you look, I'm going to do a bit of cleanup from the last session. If you look, it's the first time man, as I said today, has managed to do the transfer exactly like solar system, where we repeat for the children to understand the difference is that in the we had the material, let's say, as we said this morning, the copper. We heated the copper, this copper plate, which is here. This copper plate is in the matter state, which means its gravitational magnetic field is at a matter strength plasma. So what we done, we heated it up and we managed to bring it into the separate condition, but still in a nano state, in a matter state. So now this was all packed together. Now with heating it, we allowed it to separate or putting current into it. Now it still is in a matter state, but in a single atom. Then when we added the salt water in a container, or we create a condition, now anything is free. Individual atom, but now, yes, it's in the wrong pocket. And you want it to be near my heart. That's the problem. Okay, you want it on the heart side. You feel the emotion. So you have the same in the plasma. Here, half of the plasma is in the free state and half is attached to the matter state. So it's a single condition. Here is totally free and it's a plasma. It's a plasma of copper. You call it plasma of a solar system, the sun. It's the same. Now it's free plasma. It's just the size and the mass which is different. So now you have the sun. You create the condition that the field of the sun can spread in the solar system, that as they spread, they interact with other fields, so they keep on slowing down. Let's say they start here at the speed of 1,000 strength. Here they are about 900, clashing with the others. Here they're at about 200. And let's say the copper strength was 200. So now, at this point, you receive the matter state in singularity of the GANs, but you are in a nano state level in a GANs state. So what it is, you're still here. Then what happened? You are given a condition of an environment of, let's say, planet Earth, the blue planet. In the blue planet, once you enter the blue planet, or we better move it, then you understand it. So if you enter the blue planet, because of its gravitational magnetic field, the 200 here manifests itself back as the copper. So this is what we see, and this is what we have. So you go from a matter, you create a nanomaterial, you have GANs. A GANs is the same as the sun, it's a plasma. And then what do you do? I have to stop this. Okay, done. So the plasma, the slows in the strength, you get in the condition of environment, becomes matter. And then if you free this matter back again to its plasma, you recycle. So this is the cycle of life. This is the cycle of plasma in every condition. You create it. So if you put now what Alex did, he put a bunch of these in what you call a core. He spin it because now the energy from these, the same as the sun, are radiating out. In the environment of the Earth, gravitational magnetic field, these, if I do it red, then you all understand it the easy way. Now, in the environment of the magnetic field of his lab, he created the condition of the matter state of the Earth. So what he has collected is a bunch of matter. We don't know what these matters are because each side of the house has different gravitational magnetic field. One could be copper, one is zinc, one was water, and one, let's say, is chrome or salt or whatever. So different condition, different planet allow different material of the plasma to manifest themselves. Because in there now, you interact with a matter state field. So this is how the life and the existence is. It's a ever cycle of transfer from one strength to another, and then back to whatever it could be.
Mr.
And
Keshe, I'm sorry,
yes.
you talked, but you emphasized his wish. You said over time, you said he had this wish. So I want to know the interaction of his wish with
Listen, don't ask for this is children program.
I don't care. I'm a kid.
You're a kid, but the kids won't understand. But let me explain to you something else. If his wish wasn't there, this environment, let's say, would have created zinc, and here aluminum, and here, let's say, alcohol. But because his wish is part of the structure, that adds to it too. Because now his wish as a plasma has an effect on the environment of representation too. Wish, desire is plasmatic, gravitational, and magnetic. This is the difference. This is why it's important to understand how we change situations. Your wish changes the environment. You wish to have conflict environment, you create a conflict. You create an environment which the field strength is at the conflict level. If you look, especially for the children, I advise you never listen to the news, especially if it's broadcasted for children or for adults, which is targeted at war. In Europe, they build wars. They create environment of conflict. There is an enemy, we have to fight it, they increase it, and then, because they pre-planned, they deliver people who can show a small conflict, build it up, rob the nations. Because when it's a conflict, it's pickpocketing. Wars, present wars, are pickpocketing in a larger scale. When you go and pick somebody's pocket to steal from them, you don't go and say, can I have your pocket? There's 2 of you, 3 of you, you create a distraction while he's busy, you pick up the pocket, you walk away with a computer. Whatever, the calculator, the wallet with the money in it. Now the international structure is they create a mayhem by the television and the news, and then they see themselves the cause. By the time people find out, central banks are empty. It's the same situation. They create environment of conflict. Everybody expects conflict. People go into conflict. A lot of fathers lose their children, and a lot of children lose their parents because somebody had a target, created the environment of conflict. You go to China, there is not such a thing happening. If you look, especially the young people have to be wise, you look, very strange thing. How come Al Jazeera, BBC, and CNN are always where they are burning and shooting? You know how it's done, especially children, you have to know. BBC news broadcasters carry a lot of cash with them in their transition. They pay cash, you burn, you have $100. They burn and they say it's a conflict. Don't tell me how, I know they did it in Iran. That's how the Iranian Revolution was set up. You burned, you put 3 of you, €100 each, $100, youngsters, $10 is a lot of money. They start saying in front of the camera, it's a riot, a fire, and it's done. They create the environment of revolution because they know the paymasters will rob the central bank. So we create environments, and children have to be wise in how these environments are created. Here is a matter. Here is life of children. You create environment of happiness, a birthday, you put a cake, you put a music, you create to be having fun. But the adults play different game, they call it war game, because the object is not cutting a cake. It's the same cake, but it's the money that the nation worked for a lifetime of generations to save. The cake is much bigger for bigger thieves. So this is how it is. You convert, you create the environment. It's the same as I said, you create environment of a birthday. Here, you create the environment and go back on what we said about the containers. If you listen to the other teaching, you put the metal outside, you increase the field, you put matter inside of your box, you create a matter state. So you increase the physicality. So you can play. This outside fields is like your emotion, and the plates inside is your physicality, which attaches emotion to it. Then you can produce anything. You can produce a happy cake, if you know what it is. You can produce a sad cake. So this is what the change is. This is what the change of position in the interaction is. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I think you brought up really important points, the truth which usually people don't hear like this. My second question, if there are no other questions to that, is, I think there's not a single person I know who doesn't dream about, having the freedom and independence, the emotional freedom, to travel traveling from A to B. So I think this is the most fascinating thing that we are about to. I mean, now finally humanity has the free energy, and I'm baffled that nobody's talking about it. Not even the social environment that has been crying for free energy. But I guess they must, somehow face their own, ignorance. So what I want to specifically ask you, this system with the 4 shock absorbers and the centralized 1 core reactor in the center of the car, could you explain that in a way that kids could understand?
Yes, you call this a flying machine. We call it magnetic gravitational positioning. We, to be balanced and don't send fields across the whole car, for example, you localized, literally again, is the man with, what do you call it, 4 wheels. But what we do, we put, if I can show you, I throw it the wrong way for you. This is the cabin. If you look at it from the top, you place 4 reactors in 4 corners and 1 in the center, where the system with a small magnetic gravitational field lifts to a, if you look at this is the car. These are your reactors, and you have 1 in the center. You create a magnetic field which allows you to find a new position which your wheels are not needed. That's all you do, but you centralize, cornerize, that the field interaction is not heavy on the passengers. That's why we use 4 reactors in 4 corners. You understand?
Yes. Could you go into detail about the control, the directional control?
Oh, this is too much for children. You don't need to go there.
I'm interested. I'm really interested.
Yeah, when you come to it in the adult section, we'll talk. But this is more or less what you do. You lift the car in the right position, in the right condition, and then literally on a motor car, you use the power, which is the electricity, to literally with hair dryer, what they call hair dryers, because you're just a feather to direct your position in transportation. This has been done. This is not, we had this car, we had to destroy it, but now, very soon, we show it again, because now we've got 6 of them. One of these cars we can very easily make to fly. We got 7 of them. So we'll show this in the coming time, very soon. Any other question? Anything else the big child called Kevin Daviner likes to know?
No, anybody else having questions on any of those topics? How high can it go, Emmanuel, I think, asking?
Oh, this is all, it'll be done.
Some kids might be interested to know whether a hoverboard would be ready by the time the September deadline of the Back to the Future movie comes around.
Pardon? What is it?
The
Ah,
hoverboard Back to the
we'll
Future.
see, we'll see, we will see.
You mentioned the DeLorean, so I thought the hoverboard is something that kids could relate to even more than the DeLorean.
We have to show a lot of things. The thing is, I don't do it anymore. You all have the knowledge enough to carry on, and I'm sure the children will add more to it. They have better definition than us.
Actually, I'm quite sure there's probably some children that are working on that, whether they're Chinese children or Canadian children, but I'm sure there's some somewhere that have that specifically in mind to work on this year.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more to carry on, or do you want to close the children? It's about half an hour.
Well, we could.
Pardon? No, why? No, we finished because we have a lot of things to do. There's a lot of negotiations to be done for different aspects.
Okay.
I have to be somewhere by 6 o'clock, and then by 8, 9 o'clock, hopefully I finish tonight.
Okay, let's call it a short session for today for the kids then.
Well, tomorrow is a Wednesday morning, and we have Sandor teaching us.
Right. Yes, that should be interesting. It's
So I can have a sleep-in.
it's motion and motion and
matter.
Matter.
Motion
Yeah.
and matter. Okay. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Keshe.
Thanks,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Keshe.
I start at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm just about had enough today. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.
You're just ready to start your second shift now. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks, Vince. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. And that ends the 19th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop and the end of the Tuesday, July 7th afternoon teaching at the Spaceship Institute. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Kevin. And thanks to the Spanish guys who kind of had their schedule altered quite a bit today. And to everyone who's attending. I have completed